Hello. So, what's up? Chicken butt. Today I'm going to be doing a chatty testosterone update between 2.5 years and 3 years because I meant to make a 2-year update and it never happened. And my 3-year anniversary is December 10th and it is September 6th today. So, I think I'll do like a big nice video for 3 years where there's a lot of like photo comparisons and stuff, but here we are. But I've really been struggling to make this video. I've made it multiple times and I'm never happy with how it comes out. I think I'll be in a better headspace to do it closer to, because I've just had a rough couple of months, and I'm still working on recovering from all of that. But it's nothing to do with testosterone or transition at all. Actually, it's just been like health and financial stuff, and just life things, people moving and growing and changing, and it's just been quite the year. I'll be 29 in October, so a year of many much changes. But to help me kind of like grease the groove and feel more comfortable talking, I'm actually going to show you some makeup stuff while I'm talking, which I think will help a little bit. I've just not been happy when I'm just sitting here talking. I think it gives me too much time to kind of get into a more negative headspace, and I just don't want to pass that energy along. So I think having some makeup to be like, ooh, makeup time, woo woo, will help a lot. So I'm going to be showing you how I've been filling in my goatee, to make it black and fill it in and everything, which I'm about to say goodbye to this. I'm tired of it sensory-wise. I'm probably going to get rid of it like tomorrow, but it only took a couple weeks to grow thanks to testosterone. So, but I'll show you how I've been filling it in to make it black and a little bit more nice and cohesive, fill in the sparse areas. The only makeup on it right now is I have kind of like a semicircle of foundation right here, foundation and powder, to cover up some acne and to just make it blend in with the rest of my face. I'm gonna show you again how I do my neck paint because people still ask about it all the time, even though I have a video showing you how I do it, as well as filling in my hairline because it looks so much better with foundation and bronzer, honestly, but like my hairline be doing things. It also looks better right now because I put some dry shampoo in my hair. My hair was really greasy and all piecey in the front, which makes it even more obvious. But testosterone gave me lots of hair here and is coming for these follicles here for sure, which I will talk about, but I'm going to show you what you need and we'll get started. I am deeply annoyed because I almost had everything I needed and then realized I didn't. So you're going to need a mascara that you don't care a whole lot about because you're going to be using a tissue paper on it, and I'll explain in a second, but preferably a mascara that you don't care about too much. You're going to need, for filling in the hairline, you'll need some eyeshadows that match your hair. I'm going to use just a black eyeshadow that I like, and I'm actually also going to use some blue because I do have blue in my hair, but honestly, there's been times I've been in a rush and I've only used black and it looks the same. I think I just like being like, I have blue hair, so I need to use blue, because I pretty much only do it right here, because as you can see, I have one hell of a widow's peak that testosterone has done nothing to, and yet this right here has been moving back, and it's driving me nuts. Please just get rid of this. Like, please. The one part of my hairline that I've always hated is still there. Why? Why do these hair follicles continue to live? And then if you want to do the neck paint, you're going to need some sort of black makeup that there's a lot of that can cover a lot of space. You can get away with using like eyeshadows, eyeliners, stuff like that. A liquid eyeshadow would be good. I really recommend just investing in some paint though. This is the Maron liquid makeup, just the black one. I just ordered some more because I'm about out. I didn't have to order this since last October, and it's September. This almost lasted me a year. And granted, I don't wear makeup super often anymore. It's only like once or twice a week typically, and honestly, I probably only wear this every other week. But I'm also very wasteful with it because I pour it out and then like use the brush on it, and it lasts pretty well, things considered. And you'll want some brushes for all those things. I'm going to use a tiny little eyeliner brush for filling in my hairline. And then I'm going to use a stipple brush to apply most of my neck paint, and then a small little foundation brush, actually, I'm pretty sure, to do the sharp jawline. And I will also need some cotton rounds and some tissue. And then I will have my Maron Barrier Setting Spray to set all of my makeup to last going to the gym and then probably going out dancing later. This is basically hairspray, but it will keep your shit on. It will also break you out, but worth it. There was something else. Setting spray. I'll figure it out. I'm also going to have this Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream that would not agree with my skin type to pour the liquid onto. So yeah. Alright, so step one, you're going to take your mascara that you don't care a whole lot about. And this is a tubing one, so we'll see how this goes. This is the new Stila tubing one. I got it appropriated and I paid for this. Yeah. Oh, also what I was going to say is I started to draw some toxic biohazard symbols in my eyeliner. It's not done yet, okay? You don't get to judge it. I'm just going to fix it really nice before I go out later. But I'm removing the majority of this mascara. If you do not dye your hair black, you would probably want to do this with a brown or a black brown. You could do it with whatever color you wanted. But I'm literally removing, like, almost all of this. I would rather remove too much and have to do this again than to have too much on the wand. Because if you have too much product on here and you brush this through your facial hair, regardless of whether you have, like full facial hair from testosterone or whatever your hormone makeup is, or if you just have peach fuzz that you're filling in, because you can do this with peach fuzz. I did. Granted, I looked really silly, honestly, but it made me feel better, so that's all that matters. But regardless of how much hair you have, how thick or dark it is, if you have too much product on this brush, you're just going to look dirty. You will look dirty. So, remove most of it. I should take my septum ring out. I'll be back. Alright, cool. I look so weird without it. Hello, focus on me. Thank you. Yes. So right now, as far as my facial hair goes, I have all this shaved, obviously, and I just have a goatee area. I have all of this trimmed so that it's kind of a similar length. And then I didn't really trim my mustache very much. I wanted to see how long it could grow, because it kind of seems like I could get some cool curly bits towards the end, although like I said, I think I'm about done with it already. I knew I'd only have it for like a couple weeks and just get bored and shave it, but I just trimmed the hairs that were curling into my mouth because I hate that feeling. So we're going to start brushing this through, and I'm going to try to make sure I get the roots and not just the ends of the hairs. You're going to notice the first time you do this, it's really easy to accidentally only get the ends of the hairs, and that just is going to look weird. Let's see how this mascara performs. And especially if you're doing like something on stage, like drag or something, definitely you could use black. But if you are using black, really make sure that you get the majority of that product removed, because I feel like it can just be really obvious if it is black mascara. And I use my fingers and I go ahead and just pick out any straight up globs or clumps, because that doesn't look good. And I'm also going to focus quite a bit more product kind of where my mustache connects to my goatee, because as you can see, I've got some empty spots. Not super empty. They actually used to be way more empty, and they are filling in, so that's exciting. That is why I like to grow my facial hair out every now and then to just kind of vibe check everything, see how it's going. But unfortunately, growing my facial hair out always leads to a pretty bad acne breakout that I'm not crazy about, and I have issues with picking. I like to make sure I get this nice and dark too, because a lot of these hairs grow blonde for some reason, which is fine. You can do whatever you want. Obviously, you can fucking dye it too, which I planned on doing at some point, but like I said, I'm kind of out of patience with having this, and I have been super broke, so I can't really buy any extra hair dye or anything. Look at that, it's so dark. Now, I am going to do it a little darker and more dramatic since I'm on camera right now. And I think, you know, with my lights and everything, if I did it as light as I normally do, it would not be very obvious. I think I made this a little too dark. It's really easy to just go in and remove bits you don't like, though. Cool. So as far as like testosterone changes, I'm gonna grab my black eyeshadow and that little brush and just fill in with little hair strokes, just a few spots. I like to bring it a little closer in and, I don't know, just make it look a little more uniform. The majority of the changes in the past year since I, managed to actually do an update have been my facial hair growing in thicker, faster, and darker, and then my hairline moving back, which is fine. I'm not currently taking finasteride. It has some potential to have issues with depression, and it kind of works against testosterone in some ways. I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm gonna be putting quite a bit in, like I said, these areas. They aren't doing it for me, how they're currently growing in, and that's fine. The cool thing is I'm already a guy who wears makeup, so I certainly do not mind doing makeup in my beard and hairline to make myself look even better. Probably going to end up putting a lot more on, like I said, than I normally would, because it's going to look better on camera, whereas in person, I like to do it a little bit more subtle. Because I don't mind, I think it's natural to have bits of facial hair that are sparser, funky looking, not a perfectly symmetrical situation. If it's too symmetrical, it looks really fake, which is also fine if you like that look. But it's mostly been that. My hairline still really doesn't look too bad, honestly. And it mostly just looks rough if I have just washed my hair or if it's quite greasy, so it's got that piecey look to it. And like I said, really the only part that personally bothers me, because I wanted a more masculine hairline because I had a super low hairline, tiny forehead, tiny forehead, and a widow's peak, and just a super low, super curved feminine hairline. So I was hoping that I would get a little bit of change to my hairline, more of an M shape with some, like, age appropriate. That's the thing, is, like, I also felt like it added to how young I looked. It's a little too dark. Oh no. I'm really mostly just trying to fill in that one spot, because especially now that I have some dry shampoo in my hair, it's looking a lot better, even though it was a lighter dry shampoo and not a dark one. It's mostly just the fact that this spot has really thinned out right next to my widow's peak, and then my widow's peak is still there. Yes, I could, like, pluck those hairs or shave them or something, but I already have so much maintenance that I do with all of the hair on my face, on my side shaves, everything. Oh my god. I'm already, like, exhausted and overwhelmed by how much crap I do to my face and hair and head. Everything from my neck up requires so much work. But yeah. Those have been the main changes. How did I get a bunch of blue streaks on my forehead is my question. We're gonna go fix that and I'll be back. Boom! Huzzah! How to give a shit about your parents as a man. Just kidding. I'm a fucking twink. Yes. So, those have been the majority of the changes. But, we'll get started on my makeup. I have continued to grow more and more body hair. Should I show you? He's hairy. I have just, like, asinine amounts of body hair at this point, as you can see, but I've continued to have the same issue where this shoulder, because I have a lot of self-harm scars here, I noticed even before I went on testosterone, I had, like, one really long, weird hair that grew out of my shoulder. All of my hair obviously got turned up to 11, 2,000 million. Every hair that I had on my body sprouted 3 more next to it and got extremely dark and long and curly. That includes the keloid scars. So you saw, it looks kind of naked. It's because I shave it, like, all the time, and that is an inconvenience that I have to deal with. And the shaving also leads to, especially with, like, working out and having clothes on this shoulder, barbells on this shoulder all the time, I break out a lot, and then I pick at it because I'm anxious, and then I have a bunch of scars. not just from the self-harm scars, but a bunch of acne scars. So out of all the things that are inconvenient and annoying, hairline is nothing at this point, although it may become a concern in the future. Currently, I'm not, like I said, I'm not taking finasteride, and if you commit to minoxidil, you kind of have to stay on it forever. I'm not currently interested in them. I'm not that worried about it. I might do them in the future. Not worried about it right now, though. We'll just see. Definitely that taking care of that shoulder all the time is like, which I'm starting to get hairy enough on my upper arms that I might just be able to grow it out pretty soon. I don't know, though. It's still much darker, thicker, crazier looking hair. Please. I need just enough for today. Literally, my next bottle is supposed to arrive tomorrow. So this is just the black face paint. It washes off super easy, and if you don't use some sort of good setting spray, it won't stay on very well. But that's also one of the... fuck. God damn it. That's also one of the benefits of it. Because I used to use the NYX SFX paint one, and I love it, but don't wear it if you don't want to struggle to take it off at the end of the night. So... I normally have my hair, like, nice and up and out of the way. So I'm just going to apply this all over my neck. And yes, this is an absolute body image hack. If you feel self-conscious about your jawline. Although I know I have a good jawline right now. Thank you. Just grind your teeth anxiously a lot so that when testosterone gives you hypertrophy, your like jaw and neck muscles grow too, and not just like your biceps and shit. Honestly, I think that actually has been a genuine thing for me. I don't mew though. No mewing in this house. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this kind of sloppy compared to what I would normally do, and I'll just make it nicer later because I'm not that worried about it. But I normally, like, really carefully blend it up into the behind my ears, where what I do with my hairstyle is I fade up the sides. So I just blend the black up into the fade. And I try to get kind of close behind my ears without painting my ears as I paint my ear. But since this is just a easy, like, water-based paint, it just comes right off with water. So and Dan, go ahead and carve out my jaw, which right now is a little more complicated with having my goatee, but you can do a lot of cool stuff with this too, where you really like optical illusion yourself to have a different face shape than you naturally have. I try not to do that though. I already have enough body image issues without also giving myself a fake jawline. So I try to just accentuate what I have and call it good. But I'm going to go do this in just a second, but what I do is I use a mirror and then another mirror to the side to like see myself in both mirrors and actually get this like a decent line that doesn't look ridiculous. So I will make it really nice that way. Although honestly, even when it gets kind of like fucked up in the gym and stuff, it still looks good from a distance. So, all right, and then to do the fun little like hollow looking bits. The goal of which, for me, was always to kind of like zombie makeup, but not. I'm going to take a little bit of makeup remover, although you could honestly just use water on this too, since it is water-based. This will just make it a little bit quicker. I'm going to make some... I forgot my mirror in there, but I don't really need it. Some empty spaces. I like 3, so like 1 right in the center, and then 2 off to the side. My hair's in the way. And then give it a second just to dry, but I have this tissue here, so I can also use that to cheat It's also nice having this goatee because I don't have to get my chin super perfect with the way this is cut off. I can just kind of blend it into my goatee and call it good. But then what I like to do is go around the edges and actually use this stipple brush to stipple. This is just a Real Techniques brush, by the way, and I'm pretty sure it's still sold in a kit of other brushes. And they're all good brushes, so it's worth it. But any stipple brush, and by stipple brush, if you don't know, it's got like long little, it's so dirty so you can't tell, but it's got like long hairs that stick out past the majority of the hairs so that you can do this kind of like stipple dot effect. And I do the same thing like around my eye sometimes to have this like splattery paint look. If I bring the neck paint actually down onto my shoulder like I've done a couple times, I do the same thing. Nothing special, nothing different. So here's this, yes, and then of course, setting spray. Like I said, this tastes and smells like hairspray. So, fuck, that was too close to my face. I try to avoid getting it on my septum ring, on my glasses, and in my open eyes. Okay, cool. Are there any other tips? No. Since I just used eyeshadow to fill in my hairline, it doesn't stay amazingly. It doesn't really typically move, though, that much. And if anything, it'll just look more natural throughout the day as sweat breaks it down a little bit. I've found that it does pretty much stay. It just, like, gets softer and then looks better and less obvious. So, if you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, those have been the majority of my changes. I've also been just like settling into and accepting the emotional changes. It was different when my life was like chill, but processing like really big, hard emotions, like serious mental health struggles, like financial stuff and like career decisions with a more masculine brain, especially an unmedicated masculine brain, because I quit Lexapro back in October. Still haven't gone on anything. Definitely starting to get to a point. October will be a year. Yeah, I told myself I would at least go a year raw dog in my brain. I think I might look into something because I'm making it, but I'm not doing very well. And granted, a lot of it has just been stuff outside of my control. But like, I strongly suspect that if I found some sort of medication regimen, I could at least be a little happier because I haven't really been happy, which is a bummer because I'm so blessed to be in this timeline where I can access testosterone and go through this change. And I'm sure once I am doing better, I'm going to be kicking myself for not having more happy days, but I've just been struggling, honestly, to have happy days. But it's just been a really tough year. And it has nothing to do with the transition. But it is different processing things with a more masculine brain. I also do want to mention that I think getting into the gym and especially strength training really hard 5 days a week really accelerated my changes personally. It seems like it really speed ran a lot of things. I was told by a trans elder of mine that it does, there's a correlation between exercise and body hair growth, so I do think that is why I have grown so much body hair in only, less than 3 years. And maybe that is also partially why my hairline recession it really did kick up, honestly, once I started going to the gym. I've also had a really stressful year, and I'm also, like I said, I'm going to be 29, so especially with having testosterone in my system, this might just be the time that would happen. My face is also obviously changed a lot. Not all of that is testosterone. A lot of it has been that I've stayed pretty lean over the past 6 to 8 months. And I spent a lot of time outside this past year. I also, unfortunately, kind of picked back up the habit of smoking cigarettes when I drank, starting around a year ago, actually. And, like, even if you only have, like, 1 or 2 cigarettes when you go out every other week or something like that, it ages you. And I'm not complaining. I should complain when it comes to the smoking part, at least. But I also got a ton of sun exposure this year, definitely also adding to that. And once again, I'm also going to be 29. So I'm not complaining because I love, especially, I mean, both feminine and masculine and androgynous faces. Like, I love older faces in general. I've always been far more attracted to older people, and I hated looking so young. I'm sure there will be a point in time where I'm like, maybe I should have enjoyed it a little more while it lasted, because everyone feels like that. But in general, like, I've always really admired older faces, older minds, older stories, older lives, and I was tired of looking about 16. So I'm actually not really that fussed about it, especially like my forehead wrinkles and stuff. I love them. I love them so much. My kind of nasal labial folds and stuff like that. I love them. I am, if you saw my last video, I'm recovering really well as far as my gym injury goes. I'm finally working up my bench press again, which is not what caused my injury, I'm still pretty sure, but it's when my acute injury happened. I'm finally able to start training back up again. I'll probably bulk this winter. I need to. I honestly actually do think me getting overuse injuries was partially also contributed to with me staying as lean as I did for as long as I did. It is time to eat, wear hoodies, and lift heavy, because that's just what I want to do. So we'll see what my face looks like. In that case, I probably won't like it as much, but I'll probably like my lifting numbers a lot more, and I care about that more now. So, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, let me know. As far as like transition stuff goes, it's all very chill. I am still doing 100 milligrams a week of testosterone cypionate, and that's all I take. Even when it comes to the gym, all I do is creatine, 5 milligrams every day, and a multivitamin, and then food, and rest and water. And I still do intramuscular injections once a week. I have never had anything serious happen with my shots. I've had a couple of shots that got like a little blood blister towards the surface, or got just a little extra swollen and achy and annoyed, especially when I had a lot of stuff, when I was like really stressed out, or maybe it wasn't the cleanest shot, like I was being rushed or something. Nothing serious has ever happened with it. My testosterone levels have been really consistent and in a healthy, good range. There have been a couple of wonky labs at times, but I'm also someone who trains and sometimes also parties really hard at the same time, and I've been really stressed out the past year, so they're keeping an eye on a few different things with my health, but I'm still in a good range. They're just keeping an eye just in case. And then I don't have any future plans as far as any sort of surgery. I still use trans tape to tape my chest down so that it's comfortable, although honestly, I could probably wear most tops and be viewed as someone with a masculine chest. If you want to train in any sort of way that helps your dysphoria, although I try not to, because I don't want to give myself the expectation that I'm going to be shaped a certain way or be able to lift any certain way. Like, I just, like, as soon as I got into training, I was like, I don't want to purposefully masculinize my body with training, because I feel like if it's unsuccessful, I'm going to feel like a failure. And especially with my eating disorder history, I was like, I just think that's a setup for a bad relationship with exercise. But I will say, I personally just got really into training shoulders, and especially overhead press. Heavy ass overhead press. Strict pressing was the first heavy loaded compound movement that I felt comfortable with pushing to failure and even getting close to like 1 rep maxes and stuff, which makes sense because it's actually your lightest lift out of all of those. But I just got it's really safe to fail. You just bring it back down to, as long as you don't pass out. Some people pass out. Just don't pass out. You'll be fine. But I just got really into training shoulders, and the bigger you let your shoulders get, even if it's a little uncomfortable for you, body image wise, it pushes out your shirts so that it pushes out away from your chest. So, and also upper back, lats, stuff like that. Getting your lats and shoulders big, yes, also training your chest and like your upper chest so that you have some fullness here that kind of matches the lower fullness of breast tissue. And it can kind of all melt together, especially with mild compression or tape. That helps a lot, but other parts of your body that can kind of help with the illusion is shoulders, rear delts, lats, and those are all great things to train, honestly, especially along with your chest. If you have really strong shoulders and a really strong upper back, you'll be able to train your chest harder. So Just a few little gym tips there. I still just use the Trans Tape brand. Literally, just Google Trans Tape. That's what the brand is called. Other brands make Trans Tape. There is a brand called Trans Tape, and that's the one I use because they've got the bright blue one, and I love it. And I buy multiple rolls at a time. But I have no future plans for surgery. Genuinely, one, because it's a lot of time off in the gym, and I have absolutely no interest in that right now. Two, I genuinely cannot foresee myself ever being able to afford it. And a lot of that has to do with how bad my life has gone with money the past year and how I feel about all that in general. But I'm scared to even let myself want top surgery because I just don't think I'll ever get it. And I would have to do serious crowdfunding for it, and I don't want to because my dysphoria is not severe. Trans Tape it's annoying that I have to buy it every couple months, but it's working. I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm not in crippling levels of dysphoria or anything. So I'd rather people's extra funds that they can afford to give other people, I'd rather it go to people who are in a lot more dysphoric distress than me. So no plans. Definitely no interest in any sort of bottom surgery. I like what I have. I'm chill with it. I might look into some sort of hair, not restoration, but a hair saving routine at some point. But like I said, right now, I'm okay with where it's at. I'm okay with my level of regression and thinning. It's worth the trade-off for not worrying about the complication of adding another medication in. But we'll see how I feel in another year. Probably change my mind. We'll see. Yeah. It's interesting being in a more masculine brain. It's changed me a lot. I think socially, I've hit this point where I really crave more like masculine platonic friendships, and I don't really have that right now. I did for a little bit. Not so much right now, and I'm really wanting it because I'm mostly surrounded by women, non-binary people, and gay men at my job, which is awesome, but also like I am like a gym bro who plays video games, and like yes, I look like this, but also I go and care about my bench press a lot, and I've been playing like Grand Theft Auto and stuff, so like having some boys to just like cut up with and drink some beers would be really cool. No homo unless. There's that. I also do feel like I will say, and this is something I mentioned when I previously recorded this, I feel like I'm reaching a point of no return with my physical transition that I'm completely fine with, but I keep talking to myself about it and addressing it with myself to check in, where if I were to never take testosterone again, I don't think I would ever look the way I did before I took T. I would, if I literally did not take this week's dose and never took it again, my facial hair would probably thin out a bit. It would not go away. My hairline would not come back. It would probably fill in just a tiny bit in a couple spots and probably stay. Body hair would probably soften up a little bit. I would still have so much body hair. And I'm okay with that. But I am also like hitting that point of like, in my mind, it's like, this is real. This was always real. This was always serious. This was always a decision that involved some level of permanence when it comes to not all of the symptoms, but a lot of them are at least semi to demi-permanent. Plenty of them are fully permanent if you stay on long enough. So if I, for some reason, just woke up and wanted to go back to before, it would take a lot of intervention and money and time and effort. But I have absolutely no interest in doing so, and I don't suspect that I will, which is why I'm still doing what I'm doing. But it is interesting to process that emotionally of being like, oh, I feel like I'm on the precipice, and I'm still 100% happy with where I'm at and happy to keep going, but I acknowledge, I feel it in my gut. It's like, especially with the age that I'm at and how, like I said, I think I kind of sped run my first couple of years of changes by how hard I was training, giving myself tons of food and burning tons of energy, just being extremely active, eating lots, burning lots, building lots of muscle. Yeah, I'm like at that cusp now, and it's cool. It's fine. I'm excited to pass it, but it is like, it feels serious. It feels important. And I'm glad that I have checked in with myself constantly, being like, do you need to go on a lower dose? Genuinely asking myself, can you see yourself on this level of testosterone in a few years? Even though sometimes I miss the way I processed emotions before I had a lot of testosterone in my system. But there are things that I prefer about it now. I do find it honestly easier to manage on a day-to-day basis. It's kind of the more long-term stuff. Sometimes like I find myself, honestly, I kind of prefer it. It's like before I was just a crumbling mess all the time, honestly. Lots of crying, lots of meltdowns, lots of freakouts. I hit that point occasionally now, but it takes so much to get there. The issue is that sometimes I have trouble actually accessing my emotions and letting myself feel them in a way that will release them and help me move past them. And so I end up kind of dwelling, and I have to like break it open sometimes, and that's honestly easier to cope with than just constantly being an oopy goopy sad mess. So, but I mean, it's all. I don't regret experiencing my brain like that for so long, though it taught me a lot, and I can relate to people who are like that now. And it's just different. It's just different. They have their pros and cons. And even if I were to never feel and process the things in the world around me and the things I go through and the people I interact with like the way I did before ever again, I wouldn't regret it. I would miss it sometimes, but I'm sure if I went back, I would also miss like the drive, the motivation, the like one-track mindedness I have now of just like boom, 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 boom. Like I'm just like so laser focused and driven and practical, which can be boring sometimes, but has its benefits for sure. So that is where I'm at emotionally. I'm like, ooh, we're really in it, and we're about to like pass this precipice, and I'm excited to, and I'm honored to. There's a lot of shitty things in the world right now, especially with being trans, but like, thank God I'm in this timeline because I was not built very well for any of the other ones. So, any of the past eras, nah. So, stay safe, take care of each other, especially with the shit going on right now as far as being trans in America. I don't have any amazing, spectacular advice because I'm not an expert in politics or anything like that. All I can do is show up and be like, hey, I'm a trans person who is in my late 20s. I've successfully transitioned. I can pay my own bills. I have a long-standing job. I've been there 5 years. I'm struggling financially because I live on my own, but I'm making it regardless, which is more than plenty of people can say, and I'm very blessed in that. And I'm figuring it out one day at a time. And if you're stuck in a place where you don't feel like you can be who you are, and you plan on making that a reality one day, hopefully just seeing me, plenty of people have just said that just like knowing that I'm out here doing my thing helps them feel inspired or motivated or hopeful in some ways. So all I can do is just show up and be like, hey, it's your annoying twink. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. If there's anything important I can answer, just ask.